Marianne Farley is the writer director of Frima, the short live action film. I'm at Nobler Gold Derby, and I wanted to ask you, Marianne, what were you wanting people to take away from this film?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think the important thing for me was that people understand that um, that um, like the bans and like restricting access to abortion has impacts on actual human beings like women and what that impact means for individuals and for a specific character in this case. The reality is that women will keep getting abortions whether it's legal or not. The difference is, are they going to risk their lives? Are they going to suffer for because of it, or are they going to literally die from it? Because it happens. Like 70,000 women die every year from illegal abortions. So that's really what I wanted people to take away from that, is that no matter what your philosophy is around abortion rights or around abortions, it really has a very real impact on women.
Yeah, and like in some ways, the film isn't particularly judgmental because it doesn't get into the whole debate sort of thing, but it does show that sort of impact certain laws and decisions have. And I guess often when, at least I see people often in the media talking about abortion, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of empathy, and filmmaking can help bring empathy and perspective to understanding issues. What was a choice you made, or something in the film that you think particularly was helpful in sort of gaining empathy for people's different experiences and the impacts this seems to have on people?
Well, I think I pretty much in all my films, I'm really close to the characters. I always approach it through their perspective. So even in the lenses that decided to work with, we use a lot of telephoto lenses, not many wide lenses. We're really close to her. We can feel her fear, her pain, her doubt, her anxiety. That was really important to me. And just in the way the script was written, that they get, I don't want to reveal too much, but they do, at one point, the truck does get searched and they're hiding, in the back, really afraid that they're going to get caught. And, the repercussions of that being really dramatic, which is the reality for many women around the world, unfortunately.
Mm. Yeah, there's also like not a huge amount of dialogue in the film, and like in some ways the most powerful moments are the ones that are wordless in the film. How do you sort of focus on sort of conveying a lot there, and using power in sort of the silence?
Well, I really believe that what's said in a film is not really the story that's going on. So the relationship between the characters is really what I'm interested in, the subtext as well. So, of course, I write dialogue down, and I know some of it I'm not even going to shoot. And then some of it I'm going to cut, when I'm editing,
Mm.
because I think you can have 10 lines that say the same thing, but one look. And I prefer keeping the look and and leaving the words out. I mean, it really depends on the kind of films you like, but that's really what I'm drawn to, personally. And that's the challenge I give myself as well when I'm writing, but also when I'm like directing and editing. When I go and I talk to my editor and we're thinking, is this really necessary? Do we understand? On paper, sometimes you need to explain certain things, but film is really a visual media. So taking out, excess words is really fun for me, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about relationship between characters, because the two primary characters in this film have no prior relationship. So we see sort of the whole lifespan of their interaction and relationship, probably.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's what I love bringing to the screen is just like encounters. These, we all have them if everything goes well, we have many of them throughout our lives. But when you meet someone and that person says one sentence to you, and that it stays with you forever, or just meeting somebody who has a lot of empathy, or someone who's going through something difficult at a time when you're going through something difficult, like that connection really stays with you and has a beautiful impact on your life. I think I've had a lot of experiences like that. So that's how I see these two characters who are really different, who have different backgrounds. They're coming together for, the doctor's there to help out, but she's also trying to earn a living. Like there's this whole underground thing going on. But in the end, there is a connection where they understand each other, where they realize that, nobody else in the world can understand what they've just been through together, both of them together. So I find that really inspiring and really beautiful.
What was the biggest challenge for you in making the film?
I think, getting financing is always difficult. During the shoot, I would say the weather was really crazy. It was minus 30. Not Fahrenheit. I can't change it. Anyhow, minus 30 degrees Celsius, really cold. So freezing cold, actually. Yeah. So we shot for 2 days outside, and the other 2 days we were inside, thank God. Our main actress had literally like tiny boots and a coat and, hardly anything else, a small dress underneath. So it was really tough just to be able to speak, when your lips are freezing, just trying to think when you're like, all you want to do is take a hot bath. So I would say that was the most difficult thing. And for, we had the truck and we had a whole installation, and some of, our, we had like matte tack glued to the truck, and because it was so cold, it started like falling off the truck first day of shooting, and I was like, oh my God, this is not going to be good. So, we had a great team and we figured it out, thank God.
Yeah. Does Frima mean frost?
It actually does, yeah. But frost sounded
very apt challenges.
Exactly. I mean, Frima means frost, which means a thick fog that, turns into ice as it's falling. So it really, for me, it was really a nice or very precise metaphor about what's going on with these rights right now. As we think, that these rights are acquired. We can't see what's coming, but what's coming is not that great. It's actually, we have to be very vigilant. It's really scary.
Yeah. You have made the shortlist for the Academy Award for live action short film. What does that mean to you? You've been nominated in the category before for Marguerite, but what does it mean to have made the list this time for this film?
I think, the first time it was surreal. It was such a crazy experience. It is as surreal this time. But I think because of the subject matter, it's great that I can talk about this and that I can have discussions with people who don't necessarily always have the same, opinion as I do, but at least the film is, it's out there, people are watching it, and it's sparking discussions, really important discussions. So I'm really excited by that. And I'm happy for my producers as well, who weren't the producers on my previous film. And they really deserve all of this, so I'm excited.
Oh, that's really nice. We may have touched on this a little bit earlier, but is there something that people who might have a different sort of philosophical perspective to you on the issue you'd like them to sort of get an appreciation for from this film or understand differently?
Well, because as we were talking, because it's from the character's point of view and her struggle and her, like, I'm not saying that abortions are fun and I'm not glorifying anything. I think the bottom line is this woman is really trapped in a situation where she's in survival mode, basically. So I think, for me, if we talk about it from that perspective, instead of saying, well, I believe it's right or I believe it's wrong, if we go, okay, but this actually impacts human beings, like actual people. So I do think that people who are not pro-abortion can watch this film and still be moved by it. Hopefully.
Yeah. No, I would imagine so. What was I going to say? Was there a film growing up that got you into filmmaking, that sort of made you want to pursue that?
It's a good question. I think, I would say Run Lola Run was one of my favorite films. Have you ever seen it? It's a German film by Tom, can never pronounce his name, Tickwer, Teicher, something.
Yeah. I think I watched it in year 10, like German. I watched it at school. I remember watching it in high school.
You watched it in German, no subtitles, or?
So now we have the subtitles. we were that good.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, I watched it recently again, and I don't know why this film is just, it's like the perfect film, like the soundtrack, the energy, just, the creativity behind this story. And I don't know, it really moved me. I mean, there are a lot of films that I watched, all of Frank Capra's films. I was really moved by everything that he made. Chaplin, Hitchcock. I watched a lot of films when I was younger. But I think for some reason, Run Lola Run is really one of my top films to this day. So that probably triggered something in me.
Yeah. Well, now I'm trying to remember when I watched it. I think, I feel like they put it on in like a class you wouldn't expect, like geography or something for some reason. But anyway, yeah, possible. I don't know. Yeah, they had a period to kill. So you said before, with these characters, that you meet people sometimes in life and it's sort of it can stay with you forever, that even if it's a short interaction. This is a short film. What's something from the experience of making this that is going to stay with you forever?
I think that's a really good question. I think just the subject matter is going to stay with me. I think I'm really drawn to films that have a certain social impact, and I'm not sure I can personally write anything that doesn't have that. I could direct something that's not written by me, and I will, but I think to be able to invest this much time, this much energy, from like when you're writing it and then you have to finance it and shoot it and travel with it as well and promote it. I think I really have to feel like I'm contributing somehow to society. So that's the one thing, I would definitely, that's something that's going to stay with me forever.
Fantastic. And what's something you think you learnt from making this film?
Oh, to be patient and to trust the process. But every time I feel like I've learned it, and then the next time it's like a different problem on set, but it always goes back to just trust, breathe, and you will figure it out, because it's just time. How time is on a film set, time like flies by. I find that to be the most challenging thing, because I'm really precise with what I want. So I'm like, if I can't get it and the day's over, then that really stresses me out completely. So yeah, I think trust and breathe would be what I learned on this film.
Well, something that probably we can, like all of us, could take to our lives in different areas, even if you're not making not making short films, not a student film. Marianne, thanks so much for talking with us today. All the best of luck with the upcoming Oscar nominations, and people watching this interview can go to goldderby.com, where you can make award predictions and watch other interviews with award contenders. All the best.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much.